Good morning, everyone. 7:30 on the start of your Thursday morning. We are starting this second cup just a little bit early this morning because we want to make sure that you're safe on the roads as you're heading out and about this morning. We've seen so many accidents to start the day because of the weather, snow north, ice in Buffalo south, and that's causing a lot of trouble for so many people. There are so many different spots that are a little rough this morning.
Pretty much every main roadway has seen a crash this morning, and every time we look down at our phones, there's a new one just popping up, people sliding off the roads. The 33 eastbound had a huge one right by the 198. There was one lane of traffic. Anyone who is getting out and about this morning, you have to take extra
Certainly
time.
go slowly. A couple of new ones just popped up. The 290 eastbound by Colvin, left lane and right shoulder blocked. So we're starting to see a lot of traffic build up there. 190 northbound by Vulcan Street. It's exit 14. Left lane blocked. Looks like a single vehicle accident. Interstate 86 between exits 21 and 23 going westbound closed, and also the 400 closed from Olean Road in East Aurora because of a crash. So just heads up this morning, if you do have to go out, be prepared to go very, very slowly and add extra time to get to where you're going, and give a lot of space to that car in front of you. As we're watching, I don't know if they can pop up the 190 at exit 14, watching people kind of running across the 190 as they try to get this car moved out. It's crazy.
You know, I spoke with dispatchers a little bit earlier this morning in Southern Tier. Jamestown seemed to be taking a hard hit when it comes to the ice and the snow cover. What is Jamestown? What is the Southern Tier looking like this morning?
Well, very icy down there, like you mentioned. A number of schools are delayed, and that is a great move on the school district's part. And like I mentioned, Interstate 86 there in Carlton, closed going westbound between 21 and exit 23. That's by the 219, closed because of a crash. So with this ice, we're talking a tenth of an inch of ice in some of those sheltered valleys south of Buffalo. The roads can be very windy and obviously very, very slippery. There they are tending to the accident on the 190 between Ontario and Sheridan. And like a second ago, we saw maybe the owner of the car kind of running across the street and back, and they kind of block traffic there. So it is a slow go. You've got the plow truck kind of protecting that car so no one else runs into it this morning.
I want to just show you again what's going on here. And I want to stick on this for a second because this is just one of the accidents that we're following. And John is going to go round robin for us to kind of show us what's going on around the area, because
the 290 at exit 2 is a good one to show too, John.
It's not just north Buffalo and south, it's like all across western New York. We saw snow in Niagara Falls this morning. We're seeing snow and slick roads here in Riverside. But this is one of those areas where you have to be super careful as that 190 starts to curve by Ontario. That's the area where you're going to start to fishtail, and if you're going too fast, lose control of your car.
Just take a look at as the cars are going slowly there. You can see as they shine their headlights on the road just how slick it is. You get an idea of how wet the roads might be, but when you're looking at that, you really don't know if it's going to be water you're going through or if it's going to be ice. So you really have to be careful.
Yeah, so right now Rochester has freezing rain. So does Niagara Falls. So does the Buffalo Airport. Getting some snow right now in Jamestown on top of some ice. So it's a slow go no matter where you are. We're starting to see the back edge of this precipitation get closer, but still we'll have to deal with this for another hour or so. And it's not like even when it comes to an end, things are going to magically improve quickly because temperatures are still well below freezing.
Look at all the brake lights here. This is the 190 going southbound near the Hamburg exit, I believe. Or
exit 5.
Exit 5. So all the cars in the right lane trying to go slow, but then you see cars trying to merge onto the 190, struggling to do so. And then as soon as cars come together, this is, oh, look at that right there. That was a tight turn and trying to merge.
We watch some of these cameras, so I do in the morning, looking unfortunately for accidents, and it was easy to find a lot of them. But boy, if you see these cars getting so close, and then that makes the driver who was in front nervous too. So just add some space this morning. Jeanette saying she drove over the Skyway and several four-wheel drive vehicles driving recklessly. Oh, bless you. I like staying in the right lane. We're watching the 190. They're clearing that right now, and then the 290, like we said, at exit 2, Colvin, left lane and the right shoulder was blocked earlier. They're trying to get to as many of these accidents as they can this morning, but they are just happening very, very, very quickly.
They're working fast. I got to give them credit where credit is due,
100%.
because when we saw that 198 crash this morning by the 33,
Yeah.
that was a nasty looking crash.
It was multi-vehicle.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this the 290 camera here? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is one of those areas that, Aaron, you were just talking about, and you can see how slow it is to start the day.
But again, it looks like the accident, bless you, that was in the left lane is now blocked, or is now cleared, but it is still, you're moving very, very slowly. You had an accident there, and then 2 by exit 7 going westbound. That's the Main Street one. So there's some real slippery spots on the main roads. So just heads up as you make your way out the door this morning.
Aaron, maybe what you can do on your weather computer, can you zoom into this area and kind of show us how much ice has fallen or is falling?
Well, we can zoom in. I can't show you how much ice has fallen right now because I can't get to that right now, but I can tell you you're seeing a few hundredths of an inch of ice. It doesn't take much to cause the issues that we're seeing right now. Freezing rain still here, Buffalo to Lancaster, over toward Alden and East Aurora, Sheldon, seeing the freezing rain, getting reports of freezing rain up in Niagara Falls as well. But again, we're on the back edge of it, but still some of this freezing rain and drizzle won't really show up on the radar. So just like, although it looks like we're on the back end of it, we'll still have some precipitation for another hour or so. Then it will wind down. Temperatures will finally get above the freezing mark and conditions will improve. But right now, thin layer of ice there in Great Valley, sleeting here. Thank you for that update, Cindy. You might be looking out the window and saying, it doesn't look that bad. Trust me, when you step outside, it is very, very slippery.
Maybe you can also zoom into the 400 for us, because that area in or in the town of Aurora, rather, is one of those places that we're seeing a lot of action, I would, for lack of a better term. I mean, we were talking about the places where there are accidents this morning, and the 400 is closed northbound at Olean Road in Aurora because of a crash there. So, I mean, I want to put the radar and the reality side by side here. So here's the 400, and you're seeing that heavy pink almost falling, Aaron. This is ice that's falling.
It is. That is freezing rain. So that is, like you mentioned, when the reality meeting the radar right there. We're not lying to you. It's coming down. We have the freezing rain that's accumulating. Temperatures are in the 20s right now, and there are a number of accidents as we continue to monitor those. Like you mentioned, 400 northbound closed, Olean Road in East Aurora because of a crash. And just every time we hit refresh on our advisories page, a number of new accidents are popping up.
I want to check in with our 7 News reporter, Taylor Anthony, who is with us this morning. She's driving around Buffalo and South Buffalo, East Side, to try and give us some more information about what the conditions are like where she is. And Taylor, good morning to you. Let us know where you are first and foremost, and give us some information about what the conditions are like where you are. We know that you've been checking out a number of accidents this morning. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so right now we're on Fillmore Avenue, so we're north. We're heading north and south. So sorry, heading back down south. The one, Fillmore Avenue roads are, they're still pretty, here, let me flip the camera. They're pretty slushy. Cars are still moving slow, but we still have a good amount of cars that are just driving as as normal. This road specifically that we're on, it's pretty messy and slushy. We've been kind of sliding around in some of the roads we've been on. We've seen a few, cars stopped. We just left one accident that wasn't too bad. So still seeing some salt trucks out, and they're trying to put some salt down to kind of break up the ice. But the rain, there's really nothing coming down out where we are right now. And so it's starting to get a little better, but still still dealing with the aftermath of the freezing rain that we were seeing all throughout the morning.
Taylor, you said that you're heading south. Where exactly are you going?
We are heading towards, I think, east. Is it Delavan Avenue?
East Delavan and Grider.
Yeah, East Delavan and Grider Avenue. So we're heading down towards there.
Yeah, we had reports of a crash there as well. So we'll have you guys check that out for us. Really, what we want you to do, if you're watching this morning, is share your voice with us and give us an idea of what you're seeing, what you're dealing with to start the day. In addition to answering your questions, so that we can get you to where you need to be safe.
Especially, if you've made it to work already, if you've looked outside already, tell me what you're seeing as you're out there when you're on the roads. Obviously, Taylor's been doing an amazing job being our eyes and ears on the ground this morning. She's gone from East Buffalo to South Buffalo. Now she's continuing to travel south. You guys stay safe on the roads out there. But I think we're going to show you another crash on the 290 here, if we can pull that up. This is by exit 7. Every time we go back to a new camera, it seems like there's a new crash here. You can see cars having to go in the right lane around them as crews work to clear this.
Yeah, I think there's 2 accidents on the 290 westbound. There's this one, and then there's one just past this. You'll see the right lane is blocked as you get past this accident on the left lane.
This is one of those hard areas to get off of the 290 as well. Like if you're traveling to Williamsville in particular, you're getting off at this exit onto Main Street, and it's hard to merge in some places. Yep. The exit ramp, the entrance ramps are a little tricky.
You're right, because you come from the 290, you come from the 90, you got the other 90 merging, exactly. And then some people trying to get on from Main Street. So unfortunately, this is what happens this morning. You got the left lane blocked, and then once you get past that, there's another accident right above, so the right lane is blocked as well.
Okay, maybe what
people chiming in here too. My friend Madeline is here. She says Williamsville, all slush, no more rain there. Julie says she's going to go look outside now. And Bob does want to know any word on schools delaying start time. A number of them have chosen to take it slow, especially in the southern tier with a couple of delays down there.
Aaron, maybe what you can do is on Weather 2 or whatever computer you're working on here, just take us to Williamsville. And show us what the conditions look like there, because we saw all the ice in the town of Aurora where the 400 is closed in certain areas. We know how slow it is here in Williamsville. Again, Madeline telling us it's all slush, no more rain, which is perhaps some good news, but with the wind and the temperatures, it's just going to create a mess.
I'll be right back. I gotta do the radios, but the 290 by the 90 is up on Weather 1, and you can see all the pink on the screen with all that freezing rain still coming down in that area.
All right, so let's take the weather computer here so that we can give you an idea of what you're looking like on the 290.
This is street view here in Williamsville near the Snyder area. You can see that pink. The pink is really the bad stuff. This is the ice and rain, the stuff that gets really slick immediately.
The heavier the pink, the more we're seeing. So take a look at the 290 in particular. You can see that heavier shade of pink sitting right over the 290, and that's what's causing so many of these problems. Again, with the freezing rain, the wind that's expected today, and just the conditions that we saw overnight, it's going to be a slow go. A lot of those schools, as Taylor mentioned, in the southern tier in particular, and southern Erie County, delaying 2 hours, some delaying just an hour. Amanda says West Seneca is a sheet of ice. The side streets are, at least, anyway. Yeah, I mean, the main streets, I don't know, coming from the west side this morning when I got to work, it had really just been starting. So it really wasn't terrible, though when we, went out, of course, throughout the morning, conditions worsened, and it was obviously difficult to get to where you need to go today.
Well, things also escalated very quickly.
Right.
So when we came in, we're talking about like 4 o'clock. And then as soon as we got to around 5:30, 5:45, conditions quickly worsening in the Buffalo area. And again, it was that different thing we're seeing in different areas. North, you've got snow. We're talking Niagara Falls, and snowy cameras we were seeing. And then south, all of this ice and just people slipping and sliding off of the roads, really, no matter where you are.
Julie says, looks like snow-covered water out my front door, slippery. She says, slippery crap. Love that.
Ew.
John just posted a link to our closing page in the comments here, so you can see for yourself where and what schools are delayed this morning. Peter wondering about any delays at the airport. Let's pull that up. I'm going to just log on real quick here.
I looked in here, actually. It looks like everything is going on time. There's one flight canceled to New York City,
okay.
But everything is scheduled to go as planned, and everything seems to be leaving on time. The airport crews do such a great job of de-icing the planes and making sure the runways are clear. So it does look like everything leaving the Buffalo Niagara Airport is scheduled to leave on time, but of course we'll keep an eye on it.
That's so interesting to me. I mean, like, there's not even a single delay. Sure, those 2 flights that were scheduled to leave, those Delta flights to New York, are canceled. But beyond that, there are already flights in the air for arrivals, departures. Oh, well, actually, I take it back. There are a number of canceled flights this morning. A flight to Philly, 2 flights to New York. Those are canceled, but there are still a number of flights that are scheduled. Haven't even really been delayed, which I think is, a credit to our crews at the airport.
Yeah, it seems like all of the cancellations happen to be Delta. So I don't know if there's a Delta issue. There is an American flight that was canceled. So maybe it's weather related, but it does seem that, like, for the whole, on the most part, that flights are leaving okay.
Okay, so Marie telling us it's a sheet of ice in South Buffalo. Be careful. And again, we're getting different reports from all over the place. And I want to run down the list of accidents for you because there are a number of hot spots in particular that we're talking about. We're talking about the 400 northbound, which seems to be perhaps the most serious crash of them all. The northbound side is closed at Olean Road in the town of Aurora because of a crash. And John, maybe what we can do is pull up that traffic camera. If we can find it on the 400. We've been looking at the 290 for a little while here. And again, that weather computer showing us where that ice is falling right now. The 290 westbound, right by exit 7 in Amherst, the right lane and the left lane are
I want to
closed
pull up what
there.
Julie's saying here. She says it's nasty, icy under that white snow. And that's really the issue, is that there was a layer of ice, then a little bit of snow fell, and now rain is falling on top of that, instantly turning to ice. She says her shovel won't even go through it. She's salting her sidewalk now. Yeah, get out and salt as much as you can.
Yeah, that's very nice for her to do the salting. And there's a view that's the 400 between Union and Transit. And hearing this is a bad accident. So this is between on the 400 between Union and Transit right there.
Hard to see, obviously, but off in the distance, you can see those emergency crews on one side, and then you can see the heavy traffic on the other.
Yeah, and it's like this on just about every main road, the 290, the 190, the 90, the 33. We have this freezing rain continues to come down. We're kind of on the back edge of it, but still temperatures are well below freezing. And here in downtown Buffalo, we have our camera outside because we go outside, we do the weather, and you'll notice in our parking lot, still a little light rain. So even though the radar not really showing the rain in downtown, like I was saying, the radar, it's tough to pick up that very light, fine rain and the drizzle that we have this morning. And we have that camera, which will pop up in just a bit. Joe's on that this morning, and you'll be able to see that here in downtown Buffalo. There it is. There's our parking lot, extremely icy. We're not alone. This is what all the parking lots in Western New York are going to look like. Even though we have thrown some salt down, I still had to walk like a penguin as I went out to my spot earlier this morning. And looking at some of the cars, they are covered in ice. And we still have that freezing rain coming down right now.
Michelle is wondering, from Niagara Falls to Chaffee at noon, conditions are expected to improve at some point today.
Yes, it will be better then. Later this morning, we are expected to be above the freezing mark. So conditions will improve by then. And it's a long drive, and to Chaffee, and you're still, if you're on the main roads, they will be well salted by then.
Talk about this comment here. Shonda saying that the timing was a little bit off. At 4:45 this morning, she heard snow first, not the case. She's saying the timing with the freezing rain was off, though I saw it at 4 o'clock when I got
100% disagree with you. The advisory started at 4 a.m. Literally at 4:01, there was freezing rain here in downtown Buffalo. You had the snow, the sleet, and the freezing rain that started. That advisory was in effect starting at 1 a.m. for the southern tier, 4 a.m. here in Buffalo. So it was in effect, and I thought it was right on time. Basically went out, did my video for Instagram during that time where the freezing rain was coming down.
Erin Mikowski on Instagram on the WKBW page as well. And look at Kelly's comment. She says her normal 12-minute commute took her 30 minutes in Niagara County, rain freezing on the windshield as she drove. No matter where you were in Western New York this morning, gonna take it.
That rain freezing on the windshield is scary.
It really
you're
is.
Trying to get, and you're like, okay, if this is going on in my windshield, what's going on the roads? And of course, it's freezing up there too. The ground is below freezing because it's been such a cold January and February. We've had at least a trace of snow for 36 straight days at the Buffalo airport. So when that rain comes down, the air aloft is above freezing, but when it hits the ground, it's below freezing and it does ice over.
What are you hearing about that 400 crash? Because you mentioned it was serious.
Well, yes. So when I was doing the WBEN Weather Hit, we do them live, and the person was doing the traffic before me. He said, hey, the 400 at Transit, seeing a number of emergency personnel and ambulance go to the scene. So I was like, oh, let me relay back to you. That's you guys.
Got it.
In a second. So that's what I just heard. But then he went into all the other accidents that we have. Yeah. Can
you pull up the drive times for us? Because that's also just as interesting when you consider, to the point that Kelly made, a 30-minute commute for what is ordinarily a 12-minute commute. I mean, you're talking about almost 3 times what it normally takes to get someplace. You're talking
your boss
about
is ahead of time this morning.
Right. Triple time here.
You're not kidding. Here are the drive times right now. The 90 eastbound from the 400 to William, it usually takes 3 minutes. That's 5. The 190 southbound from the 290 to downtown, usually that's a 7 to 8 minute drive. That's 19 minutes.
Wow.
33 inbound from the 90 to downtown. Usually it's 6 minutes. It's at 13 minutes.
You
So
need to really double
you
your
are-
time this morning.
exactly. We're basically doubling our time. And as we look at the commute update, you are driving around 15 miles per hour on the 290 eastbound. The accidents are on the 290 westbound. 33 inbound, super slow. 190 southbound, super slow. And the 400 northbound also crawling along. And then we'll have more information on that accident.
I want to go to Taylor Anthony, who's live for us right near ECMC at Grider and Delavan here. Taylor, what are you seeing there? We know that there was an accident of some sort. What do you see out there this morning?
It's a little messy out here just because they're stuck. Let me flip the camera. They're stopped in the middle of the road. It looks like the blue Volkswagen kind of almost somewhat like T-boned the white truck over there. So you can see that front tire is pretty damaged. The door's open. So the police are on the scene now. I think they're investigating, but you can see traffic in this area around it. They have to go around it. So they're kind of slipping and sliding in the slush in this area nearby. So we just got here, and that's kind of what's going on at the scene.
Taylor, I don't want to put you at risk here, but are you able to cross the street at all? Give us a little bit of a better perspective here.
Yeah, I can try. Let me see. The sidewalks, they're putting salt down on the sidewalks too. This is all icy. Let's see. The light is changing right now, but I got a little bit closer for you here.
Yeah. So this is one of those areas that you've got to be careful with. It's a major intersection. This is East Delavan and Grider.
Yep, Grider.
So we're right by ECMC, and it's slippery, evidently.
Yeah.
But this is a place that you really do need to be careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Taylor, for you on your way down there, what was the drive like? Because we just checked in with you, and you were a little bit away. What was it like to drive down to this spot?
It was still pretty slushy, a little slippery. Like I said, it's not coming down anymore, but the aftermath of it is still. You can see the cars just kind of driving right through it. And we also saw some kids. I mean, they're heading to school, and they're not walking on the sidewalks. You can see the sidewalks are icy. They're actually walking like on the edges of the street, so that's a little scary too.
Taylor, do we know if anyone's hurt here in this crash?
We're not sure yet. We haven't seen any ambulance yet. It's only 3 police cars on site, but we just got here, so that could still, we're kind of watching it, develop.
Okay, so we'll check back in with you in just a little while.
Thanks, Taylor.
We want to let you know also that Aaron's going to have to do a weather cut-in for us on TV in just a little while. So we're going to let him do his thing.
Okay.
Why don't we, while we're still here, at least getting you ready for the morning commute, check back in on the 290 at exit 7 so that we can see what the traffic looks like there. That's in our night tech cameras. That's one of those areas that seems to be snarled this morning.
Yeah, 290 there going, like you mentioned, by exit 7. Left lane was blocked, and then you got past that, and the right lane was blocked as well. Looks like they may have cleared the left lane, so that's good. But still, you're driving around 15 to 20 miles per hour in that area. Interstate 86 going westbound between exit 21 and 23, the 219 area, that's still closed. 400 south. Now a crash right beyond Union in West Seneca with the left lane closed. That's one we were following that looked like the emergency personnel were heading towards. So that was on the 400 going southbound. And of course, the 400 northbound still closed because of a crash at Olean Road in East Aurora.
John, in the newsroom, excuse me, I just had him call East Aurora police to try and get some information on the crash on the 400 that we've been seeing now that you were saying perhaps was serious. East Aurora police telling us they have no information at this time.
All things considered, you can probably imagine that it is very wild this morning. They're trying to field a lot of calls, a lot of accidents. So as soon as we get any more information, we'll give it to you, but we're just kind of rolling with it as we find things out. You're looking live now at the 90. This is between the 33 and Walden. A little hard to see on the camera there, but what you can see is a lot of brake lights on the road. And Aaron just told you how that time, usually at some parts of the 33, take you about 6 minutes to get downtown. Now it's going to take you wherever you're going, probably at least double.
This is interesting though, because it looked almost as if the snow and the ice was kind of leaving that area with the radar that we're seeing on Weather 2. And I don't know if we can pull that up. And, obviously I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm just going based off what I can see here. It looks like it's dissipating, but the damage is already done in these areas, because of the way everything fell with the temperatures and the freezing.
Look at all the people stopping up there.
Right. There's just a lot going on here. And, these other delays, too, across the area are causing issues on the road as well, especially when you're considering the 290 by Main Street. That just causes a domino effect as well.
I do want to address Peter's question from earlier. He mentioned a story I did about a week and a half ago about them salting the roads. We were talking about there's a shortage in all of the municipalities in Western New York. If you're talking, North Towns, South Towns, everyone's struggling with a salt shortage. I was in the barn in the town of Lancaster, rather, and at Christmas time, the entire barn was full. When I visited like a week and a half ago, it was relatively empty. They only had enough to do like 1 or 2 more runs. I did get word back from American Rock Salt, which is the company that they use to get salt from. And everyone's using this one company because there's a state law that requires you to only get salt in America. And that's the one that we have. It's in Livingston County. But I was told they've been calling, hey, can we get our salt order? And they weren't getting any calls back. So they were just waiting and waiting. They were on 8 days of waiting. And normally they get it within 48 hours. They were saying that normally they shell out about 1 million tons of salt, and they've already done 2 million this year. Just because of high demand everywhere, they've been struggling, and they're now continuing to try to maintain and get more salt to people. So it's been an issue for a little bit now, and towns are kind of having to share a little bit. But on a day like today, what do you do? Because if everyone needs salt, you can't really share here and there. And then, as much as they try to pre-treat when the rain is freezing instantly on top of the salt that's already there, it's hard for the salt to
the rain kind of washes it away also. The city of Buffalo a little earlier this morning had suggested that you use extra extreme caution because of the conditions on the road this morning. They issued a buff alert explaining that winds could get up to 50 miles an hour at some point today. I also want to give you an update from the Erie County Department of Public Works because we know, especially in East Aurora by the 400, where that crash continues to have some traffic tie-ups, the Aurora district has 5 trucks out. They're treating roads for freezing rain. Further south in the Concord area, they've got 5 trucks out. They are treating for freezing rain there as well. And in Hamburg, 7 trucks are out treating for freezing rain. In Clarence, they've got 7 trucks out treating roads for freezing rain. They are saying that conditions vary from slushy to icy. And in the Cheektowaga area, roads are covered and slick. I want to stand by and let you hear Aaron's forecast update. He's going to be doing a weather update on TV, so we'll be able to kind of hear him and see him on TV. You'll see the weather maps here as well. And then Priscilla, I see your comment here. I want to make sure that we're addressing it. How are the roads in Dunkirk? We'll be sure to update you on that as well after this.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is a very slow go across the area this morning. Here's a view of the 400 going southbound right by Transit. Notice the looks like a car in the middle there that went off on the left lane. Left lane has an accident with a number of emergency personnel on site right now. Roads are extremely slippery. This is one of many accidents across the area this morning. You're going to crawl along in the 290 eastbound from the 990 to the 90, 33 inbound, less than 30 miles per hour, 190 southbound from the 290 to Buffalo along the river, going about 24 miles per hour. 400 northbound from Transit to the 90, about 48 miles per hour. Roads are very, very slippery. Temperatures are still below freezing, and we're still dealing with some freezing rain and drizzle this morning. Winter weather advisories in effect through 1 p.m. today for all of Western New York for the ice this morning, which is starting to wind down. So that's some good news. We also have a little snow on top of some of that ice. Checking out the radar right now. The pink on the screen, that is the freezing rain. Have light freezing rain up in Niagara Falls, at the Buffalo airport, some light snow reported in Jamestown. A closer look showing the pink on the screen still across the area along 20A in East Aurora, Lancaster, Alden dealing with some freezing rain. Here in Buffalo, just a little drizzle right now, but the rain is starting to wind down as we are on the back edge of this system. Currently, with just a little light rain here in downtown Buffalo, freezing once it hits the surface, 27 degrees, 26 in Niagara Falls, 30 in Jamestown, 31 in Bradford. The milder air will push northward, be in the mid-30s by noontime, mostly cloudy with maybe a stray shower. Windy this afternoon with temperatures in the mid-30s. So here's your forecast for today. A little freezing rain and sleet this morning, a little sun with some strong winds this afternoon, temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. Tonight, overnight lows near 20, mostly cloudy and windy this evening. Tomorrow, mid-20s under mostly cloudy skies. A general snow return Saturday afternoon continues into Sunday. We're all going to pick up about 3 to 6 inches of snowfall then. Cold for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with highs in the low to mid 20s.
Back here now at the top of the hour, I want to reset for you and say good morning to you if you're just joining us on Second Cup. We appreciate you. We are doing a special extended edition of Second Cup this morning, having started at 7:30, our normal start time at 8 o'clock, to make sure that you're safe on the road as you're heading out this morning.
This morning, a slow go no matter where you are. All morning, we started to see things escalate. Freezing rain and ice south of Buffalo and in the city, and then snow north of Buffalo. So no matter where you are, if you're going to work today, probably going to take you a lot longer to get to where you need to go. We've been seeing accidents on pretty much every main road. We're talking about the 400. We saw several accidents on the 290, on the 33. We're still trying to get information and make sure that everyone's okay. We did hear that one of the accidents might be serious and there was emergency personnel working to help people out there. We're just trying to keep you updated on anything you need to know as you start the day today.
Okay, so let's begin with some breaking news here this morning. First and foremost, in addition to the weather, and we'll check in with Aaron and Taylor in just a moment, West Seneca Police needs your help this morning finding a missing child. 16-year-old Devin Parrott was last seen at the end of January on the 31st in the area around French Lee Road in the town of West Seneca. You're looking at his picture here. He's about 5'8", 145 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Considered a runaway, not missing under suspicious circumstances, but they're still concerned for his welfare, is what police are saying. If you know where he is, call West Seneca Police. Again, this is Devin, I'll say his last name here, Devin Parrott. He's 16 and is considered a runaway, but they're concerned for his welfare because obviously of his age and the conditions out there. So if you have any information, call West Seneca Police. Speaking of West Seneca, I want to take you live to the 400 this morning, where we have seen this one accident in particular on both sides, really, of the 400. Slow go here between Union and Transit Road. But then look on the other side of the road where you can see those emergency lights flashing, cars trying to merge on the foreground here to avoid some other traffic tie-ups. This one place in particular seems to be where some of the worst accidents have been, Aaron.
Yeah, we've seen a number of accidents on the 400 this morning, and you have this view between the Union and Transit. That's the left lane that is blocked as they tend to that accident, and could be some injuries in there too. That's what we heard on the radio earlier when I was doing the weather updates. So, they're getting the emergency personnel out there as quickly as they can, but they're dealing with the conditions as well. And the roads are very, very icy this morning with temperatures still well below freezing.
So the 400 northbound closed at Olean Road in Aurora because of that crash. That's been going on since 6:30 this morning. And typically when we see a crash that's persistent in terms of getting it cleared, we know that there are some issues there. Just speaking from experience, we did reach out to East Aurora Police to try and get some information about what exactly is going on there. And they say that they really don't have any information at this time. But once they provide that information to us, we'll be sure to keep you posted.
And this, of course, is happening everywhere. So I do want to bring in Taylor Anthony, who's been live for us and doing a great job all morning. So she is near ECMC, not too far. She's at Delavan and Grider, where there was a crash there. Taylor, we saw that there was a Volkswagen that collided with another car blocking that intersection there. What does it look like now?
Yeah, so they just got the tow truck. Let me get a little closer. The tow truck is coming to take, I'm not sure which one away, but the Volkswagen here, the airbags, they're filled, and it looks like that's kind of what T-boned that white truck right there. I was able to check in with one of the officers. He said no one was badly injured, so that's good news. There's no ambulance on the scene yet, but again, the tow truck is here. So they should be clearing this intersection up here soon. Traffic is kind of going around it. It's still messy, very messy out here, and traffic is blocked off coming this way, but the cars are kind of going around the accident in the opposite way. So
Taylor, describe the conditions for us this morning. You've been all over the place. Describe when you saw the worst of it and what it compares to right now.
Yeah, so right now where we are, roads still slushy. I'd say a little icy, especially like where we're standing, the sidewalks. Yes, there's some salt down, but it's still, you're still sliding. And we were further south earlier this morning. Those conditions were still very icy. The sheets of ice we were standing on in the roads, you saw the snow on top of the layer of black ice. So sometimes it's hard to see, especially if you're, if you are going fast and you hit that patch of ice that you may not even notice is ice. Definitely it's cleared up because the rain isn't coming down anymore. The freezing rain has stopped, but it's kind of like the aftermath is what we're seeing now.
So Aaron, maybe what you can do is touch on what we're expecting now, where we are, and where we go from here.
Well, the heaviest freezing rain has come to an end, so that's good. We still have temperatures below freezing, so all that rain that accumulated on the roadways and sidewalks, and especially parking lots, is still icing over, so it will be icy for the next couple of hours. We get above freezing later this morning, and then things will start to melt if they have not been salted. Roads are obviously very, very slippery. We just had another accident, this one on the 290 westbound by Niagara Falls Boulevard. The left lane is blocked. Looks like a car spun around there, is facing the wrong way.
Wow.
So the 290 eastbound and westbound, right between exit 2 and exit 3, moving slowly. Eastbound checking out the accident, westbound dealing with the accident.
Yeah, it looks very slippery out there. MB is right. Crunchy when cars drive by her house. This is, again, one of those areas, the 290, we're seeing it by exit 7.
Yeah.
We're now seeing it here by Niagara Falls Boulevard.
And this is just happening in the past couple of minutes. I mean, we're keeping you updated live as things are happening. So in that time, when we were telling you about the freezing rain and talking to Taylor, another crash happening. So as these things are happening, we want to show you what's going on, especially if you have somewhere to be this morning or even later today. Things are expected to get better as they go along, but right now we're still in the thick of it.
Yeah, so it looks like I said, the steadiest rain has come to an end. We're on the back edge of it, so we are seeing the rain wind down, which is great news. So now the salt can really do its job. It's not having to get washed out by that rainfall, but still, roads are damp and temperatures are well below freezing. And until they get above freezing, we're going to be dealing with some very slippery conditions. Main roads have been salted, and you see a number of accidents on those. Side streets are super slippery, so are parking lots and sidewalks.
Super interesting to hear from Cindy that it's not that bad in Niagara Falls, because we saw this morning in our 5 o'clock hour that really heavy, persistent snow that was really blocking and blinding the traffic camera. It dissipated, and now it's kind of faded, it seems.
Yeah, the Niagara Falls Airport did report some late freezing rain last hour and this one. So yeah, I'm glad it's not bad by her in Niagara Falls, but other parts of Niagara Falls, especially by the airport, are reporting freezing rain. And you don't need much. You can look out your window and say it's not that bad, because you really can't see it. Step outside, go to the mailbox, and you're sliding all over the place. Yes.
Megan being sure to draw our attention to the delays that are happening all across Western New York. We're going to put a link in the comments once again for you, wkbw.com/closings. Olean, just one of the many schools that have delayed by at least an hour, many of those in the southern tier, some in southern Erie County, though, as you can imagine, a 2-hour delay will do a benefit to these schools.
Yes.
Because of the conditions out there. We know Salamanca in particular on a remote learning day, though teachers are still expected to.
And we talked a lot about that yesterday too, that schools across the southern tier would most likely be delayed today. So that's a very wise move. They have more ice across the southern tier. You have the valleys where that cold air tends to get trapped, and that's a little more conducive for freezing rain, which we're seeing this morning. So, glad those schools closed. The rest of the area still dealing with some slippery conditions, but that's definitely worse across the southern tier. And you combine kids either walking or the buses out there, it makes it even slower. And I saw someone saying that Wheatfield was very slippery.
That was Crystal, yeah.
Okay.
So here's Cindy again saying driving isn't that bad in Niagara Falls. And
then you have people in North Tonawanda who are saying it's really bad. Lynn's saying it's really bad in North Tonawanda with the ice. And then you have people in Wheatfield and Lancaster. And then you have folks in Angola saying it's like a skating rink down there.
Our friend Annette, we appreciate you being with us, Annette, as always. Maybe what we can do is focus on Angola. They had so much snow over the last several weeks and months. They're dealing with the brunt of that. Yeah. What are they seeing in terms of ice?
Well, like Annette's saying right there, road is a skating rink there in Angola. We have, so much of the snow, and then we had the above freezing temperatures, and that would melt. Then you have the slush, still a lot of that freeze-thaw cycle, making for a lot of icy spots across the area. So Angola, very slick. So it looks like everywhere in Western New York is going to be slow this morning. And still, as they tend to that accident on the 400 southbound, right by Transit, that left lane still blocked. So we're watching that accident. 290 by Niagara Falls Boulevard. Both directions going slowly, as one side looking at an accident, the other side is dealing with it. That is going westbound. So we still have Interstate 86 closed between exit 21 and 23 going westbound. So just heads up, roads are very slippery. In Dunkirk, temperatures are getting slightly above the freezing mark, but I would imagine you had a lot of ice overnight. So certainly side streets will be slippery.
Okay, just getting. Oh, okay. Mike Reed from the city of Buffalo is getting some information about that early morning crash on the 33 that they cleared a little while ago.
So
This is
there's
Dunkirk.
right there.
Because someone asked earlier, I think it was Priscilla, asking, what does it look like down there in Dunkirk?
Yeah.
And there's a live look.
Yeah, and the rain has come to an end there in Dunkirk, so that's good. And you saw like a couple flakes right there, but it looks like they're going near the speed limit right there. And Sarah's saying roads are well salted and take care of in Hamburg, as far as I could tell. That's fantastic, Sarah. Good to hear, because there are a lot of spots where they're trying to get out there, but we saw one salt truck have to stop to kind of block a car that slid into the barrier on the 190, so no one ran into it. That person.
Lynn, good morning to you. Glad you're with us as always. Driving down my street all the way into Twin City, it was a sheet of ice. I'm not ready for this. I need some sand and sun. Girl, we're all with you.
36 straight days of at least a trace of snow makes us all want to say, what is going on?
So Lauren lives in East Concord and has to drive to East Amherst. That's a hell of a drive.
Yeah, sorry. That is a bummer. Go slowly. I mean, it is the good news, Lauren, that the freezing rain and drizzle has kind of stopped or coming to an end for a lot of us. Bad news is temperatures are still below freezing, so a lot of standing water will ice up. And look at that. You're still going below 30 miles per hour in the 290 eastbound, 33 inbound, and the 190 southbound.
Lauren, I wonder, can you answer our question for us? How long does it typically take for you to get from East Concord to East Amherst? I'm going to venture a guess about a half hour, 40 minutes.
Like 30 minutes probably, yeah.
But then factor these drive times. I'm interested in hearing what you are actually going to experience here this morning. Howard asking of any power outages. You're checking on that right now.
Yeah. Could be some tonight with winds gusting around 40 to 50 miles per hour.
Can you maybe address that really quick too? Sure. Earlier this morning, the city of Buffalo put out a buff alert suggesting that winds could gust up to 50 miles an hour. What are the winds looking like?
So wind advisory in effect for all of Western New York starting at 4 p.m. today. So we get past the wintry mix this morning, catch our breath, and then later today we will have winds gusting around 40 miles per hour around 4 to say 9 p.m. And then from 9 through around 6 a.m. you're talking winds gusting 40 to 50 miles per hour. So some areas could experience some power outages with, if a branch were to fall on the power line. So it's certainly a chance tonight. Not a big chance, but the chance is there.
Kim wondering, will the temperature go up today?
Yes. So later this morning, we will be above the freezing mark around 11, close to lunchtime. But until then, it is pretty slippery. And now we're starting to see a little fog and mist around the area with temperatures below freezing. Anytime then that moisture hits something that's below 32, it'll ice over. So it's just kind of a slow, sloppy, slippery morning to start your day.
Lauren saying no power outages in East Concord, but trees are falling down up the hill. What are you seeing in terms of power outages elsewhere?
I just checked the maps on NYSEG and National Grid, not seeing any power outages. There's a couple people in Niagara Falls without power, but it's less than 5 people. So not sure necessarily if it's weather related, but it looks like things are still good with power outages. But as Aaron mentioned, going to get super windier later today. So you could have trees on power lines and things like that. So we're not out of the woods.
And Lauren saying that some trees were coming down there in East Concord. Maybe they are so covered in ice that it is weighing on them. But as the morning moves along, we get about freezing. That'll melt. So that's some good news. But still, you get winds near 50 miles per hour later today. Any branches that maybe have been stressed by the morning ice could break off later today.
So Lauren answering my question about how long it typically takes her, 50 minutes.
We were wrong.
Okay, so we were both all wrong.
So here we go.
How long it's taking today.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. So leave yourself some extra time, Lauren. If it takes you an hour to get to East Amherst from East Concord, then you're going to need to almost double that here today.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah, because you're probably 16 or the 219 up toward the 90, all moving very slowly. And it's a slow go from the south towns to the city into the north towns.
And Connie looking ahead here, she said, does she hear there's another storm brewing for the weekend beginning of next week?
You heard correct, Connie. Not so much the beginning of next week, but the weekend, yes, late Saturday afternoon, after around 5 p.m., some snow moves in. It continues. It's a general snow, so it's for everyone. And that'll be from Saturday through Sunday with about 3 to maybe 7 inches of snow. Some models going higher than that. So don't put the shovels away just yet.
You want to give us a look at what we can expect for snow totals? Are you able to do that?
I like walk away and walk
Let's
back.
do
I'll
it.
let you know in a second.
I'm thinking about we have a new reporter that just started,
Oh.
Althea, and she is from Miami and is coming to us from Texas.
Yeah.
So she asked me the other day, she was like, how much longer is it going to snow? And here we go. What is it, 36 days in a row we've had snow?
Yeah, and then we'll probably, if we had any snow this morning, that'll make it 37.
That's 37 days in a row. And then I believe I saw some on my way in. So I think we'll count at 37. And then you got freezing rain. So I'm thinking of her as she starts her day this morning too.
I just want to update some traffic storylines that we've been following all morning. That one crash on the 400 northbound seems to have been cleared.
Okay.
So that's the one that we've been watching very closely, because that was the one that started about 20 to 7 this morning. And typically they're able to get those crashes cleared rather quickly, especially if there aren't any injuries. But, I don't want to speculate here. We were hearing, though, from our friends at WBEN that conditions there might not have been great. And emergency crews were on the scene. And again, with it being just cleared, it took a lot of time for them to clear that one accident.
And they're still tending to that one on the 400 southbound,
right
by Union there in West
so
Seneca.
Let me run down quickly just the traffic crashes that we need to let you know
I got
about.
the snow totals
and
up
then we'll
for
go
you.
to the snow
Okay.
totals. The 86 westbound, Interstate 86 westbound is closed from exit 23, which is the 219, to exit 21 in Carrollton because of a crash. The 400 southbound is closed, beyond Union and West Seneca has the left lane closed. And then the 290 westbound beyond exit 3, which is Niagara Falls Boulevard, has the left lane closed as well. The other accidents, for better, not for worse, have been cleared.
Yeah.
Though it has been a dicey commute, to say the
It's
least.
still a slow go. I mean, you've seen a lot of these roads. Normally people are traveling, 50, 60, and people are taking it very, very slowly. And as we mentioned earlier, obviously we still have a lot more winter left to go, Aaron.
Yeah, we do. The 290 eastbound, 33 inbound, and the 190 southbound along the river, all less than 30 miles per hour right now. Temperatures still below freezing for everyone except for Dunkirk. You're at 36 degrees, but temperatures are climbing. We're at 32 in Batavia, and that milder air 2 hours south will continue to spill in the area. We had a question about the snow for the weekend. Snow arrives late Saturday, continues into Sunday. Like I mentioned, about 3 to 6, maybe 7 inches of snow for everyone. Some models going a little higher than that one, but I like the European model. It's a good one in that 3 to 5 day span. So we're talking 3 to 7 inches of snow. All focus was on, of course, the wintry mix and the freezing rain this morning. The wind this afternoon. Catch your breath Friday and get ready for some more snow on Sunday.
This is through Sunday, though, right? Or this is going to happen on Sunday?
It's from Saturday afternoon through Sunday afternoon.
Okay, so nothing we can't handle.
No, nothing. I mean, we have to handle it.
It's
Yes,
February in Western
it's
New York.
February.
It's still winter. And then now people looking even into next week. Is there more ice coming our way?
Well, we have that snow, like we said, for Saturday into Sunday. As far as more ice, not really. Like maybe, I mean, we're talking the end of next week. Some of the models have some snow for us, but anytime you're talking more than a week away, I don't like to get out too far like that. So I would just get through today.
Yep.
The wintry mix and the ice, and then tomorrow, or then this afternoon with the winds into early tomorrow, and then of course Saturday into Sunday with the snow.
So my mom is flying home from Florida tomorrow. She, of course, is flipping out because she hears ice and is, we go full Jewish mom here. So what are we looking at?
She'll be fine. I could tell you tomorrow's landing. I don't, it's not fun when it's a little windy, but it will be a little windy tomorrow when you're landing, so it could be a little bumpy there. But the strongest winds will end tomorrow morning, but still when you're landing about 15 to 30 miles per hour.
And I'm looking at the big board here on the airport. The departures today, everything looks to be scheduled and going out on time. We did have that one canceled flight to New York City, but everything else for the rest of the day into the afternoon is scheduled to go on as planned.
I want to address Joyce's comments here. Joyce. I want to address Joyce's comments here. She heard the 400 northbound was closed. No, incorrect, Joyce. Let me set the record straight here for you. The 400 southbound has a crash beyond Union, so the left lane is closed there. That's the only crash right now on the 400.
It was closed earlier.
There was an area that was closed
by
Olean Road in the town of Aurora. It's since reopened. The crash there has been removed from NYTEC's advisories. So the only other places that we're paying attention to at this point on the road where in terms of an accident is Interstate 86 westbound by the 219 in Carrollton, and then the 290 westbound by Niagara Falls Boulevard, where there are 2 crashes reported respectively. The 400 southbound has a crash beyond Union Road in West
Seneca. We're seeing here, this is the 400, I believe, that we're looking at here. And you can see this is one they've been dealing with for a while now. They're moving slowly in that right lane because that left lane is closed. And then you can see that car in the snow in the middle there, between the 2 lanes. It's disabled, someone you walking there. Emergency crews have been there for over 30 minutes, close to an hour.
Yeah, they've been there, since around 7:40 that accident occurred.
Tracy was hoping for a 2-hour delay in the North Towns. No dice, Tracy. Though, again, you can log on to wkbw.com/closings and go and take a look at some of the schools that are, in fact, delayed. I'll run down the list for you just so that everyone can kind of hear what's going on. Allegheny Limestone, delayed 2 hours. Andover, Cattaraugus Little Valley, Ellicottville, Falconer, Fillmore, Forestville, Franklinville, all delayed 2 hours. Frewsburg, delayed an hour. Friendship is closed today. Hinsdale delayed 2 hours. Jamestown delayed an hour today. Olean delayed 2 hours. Pine Valley 2 hours. Pioneer 2 hours. Portville 3 hours. Randolph Central delayed 2 hours. Salamanca is all remote learning. Southwestern delayed 2 hours. Wellsville, West Valley, Whitesville all delayed 2 hours. So many of these schools are really in the southern tier where there is that delay this morning.
Yep. And good call. I mean, you don't want the kids on those buses this morning, especially, they had a lot more ice overnight. It started earlier than it did here in Buffalo. So, they made a good call by just keeping them home, let the salt do its thing. This weather is going to improve, and then get the kids to school.
Taylor's on the 90 right now. She's driving now, so we can see what it looks like. If we can pull Taylor up, if that's okay, before we let you go, we want to just see what it looks like, so you can see what you're dealing with if you're going to be traveling there. We're going to take her one more time.
We lost Taylor, actually.
Okay. We'll do that in a second. Someone did ask, though, because you can see these cameras look a little blurry. Is that fog out there, Aaron?
Yeah, so yes, it is a little fog. You have some drizzle and some mist being reported at a lot of the reporting stations. So we're seeing that. A lot of low cloud cover, and still temperatures below freezing right now for most of you, except for Dunkirk. So it's going to still be quite icy across the area.
This is interesting from Melly. She says Buffalo schools have buses running about an hour to 2 hours behind schedule. I haven't seen anything come across from the school district itself, but I can check in with their spokesperson to see what the deal is, Melly.
Yeah. While it does that, we can take Taylor now. She is on the 90 for us. So Taylor, tell us what you're seeing now in your drive. You were just by Delavan and Grider looking at that crash. What are you seeing now?
Yeah, now, so let me flip the camera. We're heading west on the 90. Roads are pretty clear, it seems like, but again, with that black ice, you just never know. But traffic is moving. We haven't seen, at least in the few minutes we've been on here, we haven't seen any stopped vehicles or anything. So we're moving. We're in the far right lane, so we're just taking our time, going slow. Most cars seem to be doing that. Some have passed on, but again, nothing stopped yet, so we can keep you updated.
Okay. Taylor, thank you so much.
Traffic is slowing down a little as we get further up here. I'm not sure if that's anything or if it's just, kind of backing up with the morning, morning rush hour, morning commute times.
And Taylor, just give us a sense again where you are and where you're going.
Yeah, so we're heading west on the 90. We're getting ready to head to the 190. And so we're right by that exit 53 towards Niagara Falls. And so we're slowing down a little bit, but again, I don't think it's anything specific, but it might just be that morning commute. But again, roads a little slick. We're going slow, taking our time. Most cars are going slow.
Right near that 190 interchange.
Yeah, anywhere you got cars merging is going to be a trouble spot.
Yeah. And you see the windshield wiper is on the lowest setting right there. So just probably clearing some of the mist that other cars are splashing up on you.
Taylor, maybe what you can do is point the camera at Rob. And maybe, Rob, what you can do is just, while you're keeping an eye on the road, tell us what you're feeling behind the wheel.
Nothing really. There's not a lot of tug when I hit the brake. There's no skidding. It's fairly clear here. It was much worse this morning on the 33 where someone hit their brake and I tried hitting and almost swerved. But right now, roads seem pretty fine to me.
All right. Thank you, Rob Nevis.
Yes,
Thank you, Taylor
Rob.
Anthony.
Margaret
We
says
appreciate
stay
you
safe to both
guys.
of you, so
Yeah.
make it safely back here to the station so we can get you warm inside.
Again, those main roads been very, very well salted. We saw a lot of the trucks out there, and most the heavier, steadier rain has come to an end, so that's good.
I want to answer Peter's question here and suggestion when he says, when we have an extended second cup, can we see the school closings? Unfortunately, the way that works, and I'm going to lift the
Peel
curtain
back the
for
curtain,
you.
yeah.
No.
You're plugging and playing a lot of different things to show
Yeah.
you everything. So we kind of have to pop us up. And when we pop Aaron's weather graphics up, we pop those up. We can't really have those going and us kind of going.
And I
at
got the
same
camera outside going,
Yeah.
then we want to show you the traffic. So
So the
unfortunately,
way it all
something has to
works
give. Yeah.
is that on TV it's automated. And so we don't have the ability to drag that over to Second Cup, though great suggestion.
It is.
And of course, you can always find the school closings or delays for yourself on wkbw.com/closings. Answer Tracy's question here, Aaron, for us. Is
Sure.
it supposed to stay below freezing today and tomorrow? Wondering when the ice might melt.
Later this morning, temperatures will be above freezing. So after around 10, 11 a.m., we'll see temps go above freezing, and we'll start to see Mother Nature melt some of this ice that we have on the roads. Like I said, the main roads are fine. You heard Rob's, he's driving. It looks like he's fine. But side streets, parking lots are extremely icy.
Are we going to go back and forth again with the freeze-thaw situation?
Yes, so we're above freezing later this afternoon. It'll be windy, and then tonight temperatures drop, and you're going to find overnight lows near 20 tonight. So a lot of this slush and standing water that doesn't evaporate will ice over. So I would expect you'll be walking like a penguin again tomorrow.
So Sherry says her son took the metro to school, arrived on time in Buffalo, but walked like a penguin in the street. I did check in with Jeff Hammond, who's the Buffalo Public Schools spokesperson. He's checking on the issues with school buses, Melly. So thank you for giving that heads up to us. And once we get more information, I will keep you posted for sure. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
This is part of our job here to keep you safe, and really what Second Cup is all about, to make sure that we can share your voice and keep you safe at the same time.
And we asked you to be our eyes today, to tell us what it's looking like in your communities and your neighborhoods, so we can keep people up to date with exactly what's going on. So thank you to sharing exactly what you're going through and for letting us know what it looks like out there.
We're going to say goodbye to you at this point, and we appreciate you being with us for Second Cup. Tomorrow is Friday, TGIF.
Ooh, after a day like today, we earned it.
Have a great day.